Welcome everybody to our webinar today with Commonwealth. It's a very exciting presentation. I think we've got almost 200 advisors that have signed up. We've got about 100 that are on the line right now. So we're going to get going, not to keep everybody waiting. We're a couple minutes past the hour. So we're very excited about our relationship, I believe everyone knows, with Commonwealth, and we're very, very excited to be presenting today. So Nobar, if you could just advance the screen. The people from IDC Win that are going to be chatting now are myself and Teresa Devine, who's been helping us manage our group savings plan while Vanessa is off on mat leave. We are looking at bringing somebody else into that position as well, so we're working on that as well. So just as a quick introduction, if we could just move the screen along here, Nobar, that'd be great. IDC Win has got, our mission statement is to humanize benefits, and really the way that we do that is with two primary legs and offerings. One is a whole health offering for plan members, which goes from payments and protection, insurance products, etc., through health, wealth, and wellness programming, through telemedicine and programs like that, EAP, mental health solutions, also incentive health and rewards-based behavioral health programs. So the one side is the deliverable to the plan members, which is whole health, and the other side is the whole advisory program. The whole advisory program supports advisors and employers with what it is that they need from a business perspective. So what we're really focused on here is providing advisors with the right tools to ensure that you can take your client through a proper consult all the way through to plan management. So from plan origination through to plan management, that we've got pathways and tools that support you all the way through. The pleasure of working with Commonwealth is that they do that at an exceptionally high level. While they are an outstanding platform for delivering a group savings program for your clients, really the part that tops them off, and you'll see very much coming up in this presentation today, is that they are very focused on supporting advisors and supporting employers with the success of this program. And on the advisor side, they're very focused on helping you build a GRS practice where you may have very little skill in that area, very little experience. Although if you are a very experienced advisor in GRS, you will find benefit in what they do as well. They operate and perform at a level that's quite substantially beyond the traditional carriers. They're present in a way that others are not. And then they've got tools, mechanisms, and processes for helping advisors who are not that sophisticated in the GRS side get into the business, all the way from prospecting through to originating opportunities and selling them. They're very present. So in some ways, they are a virtual MGA on the GRS side. And it's an amazing thing to partner with them because they are so committed to the mission that we're on, which is humanizing benefits and supporting people in a very real way, leveraging technology. So with that, I'm going to ask Teresa on our team just to share a little bit of her experience working with them, and then we're going to move on. Teresa, all yours.
Thank you. I've personally been working with Commonwealth for almost a year now, and I have to say that their level of dedication to assist with the sale is outstanding. Their one-to-one support for our advisors and their clients have been wonderful to see as they walk through the demo, the sales, and the implementation process. Nobahar and her team have done an exceptional job making the group retirement process as easy and as uncomplicated as possible.
Teresa, thanks a million. Connor, I think we're going to hand it over to you and Nobahar. I'm going to be jumping off the screen. Teresa, I guess we could leave as well. But thank you so much, everybody, for attending, and enjoy what is promises to be an outstanding presentation.
Excellent. Thank you very much, David and Teresa and Marnie and Lisa and the rest of the IDC team for setting this up. We've very much enjoyed working with you, and we're excited to share a bit of the opportunity and solution that IDC and Commonwealth are offering for advisors. Some folks may have seen me before, maybe not. My name's Connor, and along with Nobahar, who's with me today, we are with Commonwealth, and our objective is to help show you a solution around growing and optimizing the group retirement side of your business. We're going to give you a bit of an overview of the opportunity and then the specific solution that Commonwealth and IDC are delivering for advisors, and talk a bit about how you can get started doing this for your own practice and your own business. Couple of quick housekeeping things before we jump into the content side. If you have questions as we go, please feel free to pop them in the Q&A. Nobahar, Teresa, and I will be monitoring that, and we'll either answer your question as we go, or we'll save it for the end. We'll make sure we leave a few minutes at the end of the presentation portion to answer questions and hear what you're looking to dig into in terms of what we go over. And in terms of who this presentation is, relevant for, I see that there's a large number of people on the line, which is fantastic. As David said, this solution and this opportunity really to add client value and build a book of business is relevant whether you are an advisor doing no group retirement today and are thinking about a way to add it to your business. You might do individual wealth or insurance, or you have a lot of group retirement plans. This is also for you. And we're going to highlight, if you do group retirement today, a way that you can actually supercharge that and get more revenue, more clients, and more value for any client that you work with on group retirement. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the kind of place that we fit in the space, the opportunity for advisors, and then Nobahar is actually going to give you a quick walkthrough of the Commonwealth platform itself, which we find is better to show rather than tell, and actually demonstrate some of what's different about this offering and what you can bring to your clients to deliver client value and build your business. I'm going to start by talking a little bit about the market opportunity and the opportunity this represents for advisors looking to add value for clients. Just in terms of the market, there's a fair number of points that you could talk about when it comes to the opportunity for advisors. And I think really the key messages here are there are a lot of retirement savings in Canada, and group retirement is a growing share of those. And that's because it adds value for the employers. So if you look at, for example, I'll pick one stat on this page. If you talk to an employer and ask them how important retirement benefits are for recruiting, 83% will say that retirement benefits are important or very important. Same thing, as a recent study from Accenture found that 78% of workers view retirement benefits as a critical factor in deciding whether to take a job. So the retirement part of what a business offers in their total compensation can be a really important recruiting and retention tool, but many businesses are not taking full advantage of that opportunity, either because they haven't yet implemented a plan, which you can help them with as an advisor, or they may have a plan that's underperforming, that's with a legacy platform that's not seeing the engagement or the member value that it could, and you can help them there as well. Okay, we'll go to the next page. So just to drill into retirement benefits is that great retention and recruitment tool. This is really the problem set that as an advisor, you can help your client solve, whether they're a business owner you work with on the individual side, or you're already doing group benefits for a client. The message here is that, as we said, retirement benefits is in some ways an underutilized tool in the toolkit for an employer looking to craft an effective people strategy to recruit and retain more employees. So this is a bit of a double click on some recent research from Mara Matchbox survey from 2021 that found of employers offering a set of benefits, retirement came out #1 in terms of importance for recruiting, and #2 just behind pay in terms of retention. So again, these can be really impactful and effective if you're trying to create a healthy, sustainable business and have an effective benefit strategy. And our job is to help you as an advisor, help your clients take advantage of this opportunity. Last piece on the kind of general market and opportunity. The message here is there's a lot of growth potential in the group retirement space. With IDC at Commonwealth, we are about creating a service and product package that makes it easier for advisors to take advantage of this opportunity. So if you think about the market, we're going to talk about where we focus, but we're going to be talking today primarily about the mid-size and smaller end of the market. So say 1,000 employees and under, down to 5 or 10 or 50 or 100, anywhere in that range. Most Canadians work for a business of that size, and it's underpenetrated when it comes to group retirement. And this is an area where if you think of all those savings that we as individuals need to do, group retirement can be a much bigger share of it. There's a lot of unserved people on the group side. So that's the opportunity side. In terms of, what's been the barrier to date for advisors? Why is this not a bigger part of many advisors' business in terms of business lines or revenue? we think there's kind of three key things we've seen in the market historically that we're trying to change along with IDC. And the first is that the group retirement space, maybe like benefits in general, though you could argue this, is that there hasn't been a ton of innovation, particularly on the group retirement side. If you think of the market, it tends to be concentrated with those big legacy insurance companies that most folks on the line are probably very familiar with. And those companies are working with pretty old systems, technology, processes, ways of doing things. A lot of the platforms that they're using are going to be 30 or 40 years old. And so, that's what is driving the lack of innovation. That also translates into often a poor client experience. If we, talk about the feedback we often hear from advisors or clients working with group retirement plans, they'll mention things like a clunky, outdated experience, not user-friendly, high fees are a big issue in the mid-market and smaller end of the market, lack of planning supports for the team, and just generally a poor experience for members and for plan sponsors. And then related to that, the third element is, along with that kind of lower client value than would be ideal, it's also tended to be a lower ROI area of the business of many advisors. So if you think about what a lot of advisors will work on, whether it's group benefits or individual insurance or individual wealth, those have been a higher ROI area than retirement because of the time cost involved and because of the revenue opportunity associated with it. So that's really what we're aiming to change, is give you a solution that is easier to work with, that generates revenue more effectively, and changes the ROI picture for you as an advisor. So that's where we come in, and Nobahar is going to show you more of the platform itself. But as I mentioned, at Commonwealth, we're trying to change that ROI picture for group retirement for advisors. We operate in the capital accumulations plan space. So we'll talk about account types, but that's going to be RSP, TFSA, DPSP, RIF, and we are launching DC as we speak. And I'll share a little bit of background on who we are as well. If we keep going here. So Commonwealth was founded in 2015. We are bringing a more modern approach and platform to the space, talk about the clients we serve, but we're doing it in partnership with advisors. So pretty well 100% of Commonwealth's growth is through advisors like you, through the IDC network, through the major consolidators, some of which you see on this page, as well as independents, really across the board. As David said, our goal is to meet your needs and make sure we're innovating to help advisors grow this part of their business. And we pride ourselves on being very attentive to the needs of advisors and your feedback in terms of what's important for your clients and for growing your business. Technology is a part of the story here, so we're highlighting that on the left. We were fortunate to receive the World Pension Summit Award in Technology in 2022, and bring that innovation to the group retirement side, which flows through to your sponsors and members as well. Talked about this briefly already, but where we concentrate, where we see the biggest opportunity is really in that mid-market. We are helping advisors with clients across industries, sectors, with a focus on that mid and smaller space, though. So we have clients across, every size band or type of business, but the focus of where we do most of our work and the bigger opportunity for many of our partners is going to be in that mid-market, small, so anywhere from 1,000 employees down to 10 or 20. Big opportunity for most of the advisors we're working with. So the core of the value proposition that we want to highlight for you today and unlock that potential for revenue and growth for you in your business is a combined product and service offering built around really doing three things, the ones listed on this page for advisors. So number one, we want to help you get a better, differentiated, higher quality retirement offering for your client with things like a better digital experience, more user-friendly, lower fees, more intuitive, some of the things you're going to see in the platform demo Nobahar is going to show you in a second. The second area of value that we want to add is really around service. David mentioned this, Teresa mentioned it, but often advisors really struggle to get good service in the market today for that mid-market or smaller client. It's an area where the legacy insurance companies are stepping back from and focusing on, those larger clients. And so this is an area where we think we can really unlock value for you as an advisor. We're going to give you a much higher level of service and really empower you to help focus on the areas that are highest value for you in your business, which can vary by advisor. And then the third piece, which we'll probably spend a little bit of time on today, is actually grow the revenue picture as well. So it's not just about a better plan and less service issues or better service for you, but also helping you both grow the number of group plans that you can sell into your book or through to clients with the help of IDC. Or if you have a retirement book today, re-platform those onto a better platform that actually drives up usage, drives up assets, therefore client value, and therefore revenue for you and your business. So everything we do is in service of these three goals, and we'll do a bit of a double click on how we do that. I'll start with the service piece because this is one that really is central to our growth in the market. We have been growing at more than 100% a year. We're onboarding in excess of 2 or 3 new sponsors a day. And a lot of that growth is, as I mentioned, driven by service. So, we'll probably talk more about this, but for every single client you bring onto the Commonwealth platform, we're going to post-implementation, collect a satisfaction score and ask them, having gone through the whole onboarding experience and into the kind of steady state stewardship, what has been their experience. And that score right now stands at just under 95% for all the implementations we're doing. Working with us, you're going to see a dedicated team working with your IDC rep like Teresa to help you onboard a client. And we're going to make it very turnkey for you. So there's no surprises on implementation. It's a very tight engineered experience where you and your client know exactly what's happening. Far less potential for frustration or confusing steps in the process that suck up time and create a poor client experience. And then the last thing I'm going to highlight before I hand it over to Nobahar to show you kind of how it works in action is related to that revenue piece that I mentioned, trying to change the revenue story for advisors. And really the message here is that the way we've engineered the experience with Commonwealth, using that more modern group retirement platform that creates a more intuitive, more engaging experience for plan members, this actually translates into not only better value and outcomes for the plan member and sponsor, but those things also drive revenue for advisors. And what you're looking at right now is some benchmarking we did with PwC last year, looking at some measures of member engagement on Commonwealth, the platform, which is the top line there in the green, and comparing that to industry average, which is the bottom row in the yellow. And essentially what we found is that for any given plan on Commonwealth, you're going to see outperformance in terms of things like participation, so the share of members joining the plan, maximizing the match, so taking advantage of any employer dollars being offered to plan members, retention on the far right there, so that's people continuing to use the program, your advisor-supported plan, even once they've left their employer. And then the third one, which we'll really highlight, is you're going to see a lot more plan members choose to transfer in outside assets, really treat the plan that you're helping implement for them as their plan for life, not just for the period of time they might be contributing while they're employed at the workplace that you install it with. And that transfers in number is actually a really important one because that drives up the members' sort of assets they're using with the program, which translates directly into revenue for your retirement book. So just to show you the impact of that on the next page here, if you just do the math on why does it matter to drive up those metrics, those translate directly into revenue, especially that transfers piece. You'll see here, this is just looking at the revenue picture for an advisor moving a $5 million plan on Commonwealth versus with a typical insurance provider. And you can see it's about a 70% difference in terms of revenue, with the bulk of that being driven by greater transfers, which means greater compensation for advisors as well. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Nobahar to show you a little bit of what the program and platform looks like in action. Take it away, Nobahar.
Wonderful. Thanks, Connor, and thanks everyone for joining us today. It looks like we have over 100 people in attendance, so great to see the awesome turnout. We've talked a little bit about how our solution is easier to work with and optimizes for revenue for your business, but at this point, we'd like to show you what that actually looks like in practice. So we find the member experience in particular does a good job of just showing the tech at work and how we've created a more differentiated experience for your clients and their employees. So starting off with the very first piece of correspondence that employees would receive from Commonwealth in the form of this personalized email encouraging them to sign up for their Commonwealth plan. So right off the bat, a lot of support provided to employees, and Connor talked about the service piece and how important it is for us to offload some of those more admin related tasks from your plate so you can focus on the areas of your business that matter to you. And that comes into play here with something called a guided enrollment. essentially a link where employees can book one-on-one time with a real human being from our team to answer any questions that they might have and get assistance in signing up for their plan. So just one example of many of that high-touch approach that we provide for your clients and their teams, making it that much more delightful for them to sign up for their new group retirement plan. Now, most employees are going to go ahead and enroll on their own. It's a very quick 5 to 10 minute enrollment flow, but I'm sure as we go out, you'll go throughout the enrollment process, you'll see a lot of things that look a little bit different than what you might be used to with the insurers. We are interested in creating a true retirement plan for life for any employee that's signing up for this plan. So definitely going beyond just another RRSP or TFSA account and giving them something that has that portability aspect, something that can stay with them job to job and into retirement. So employees do stay in your book for life. And like one of the metrics Connor showed, we do have a very high retention rate of employees who decide to stay with their Commonwealth plan, even if they're terminated or change jobs. So it all starts with figuring out the right target retirement income for the employee signing up. So you'll see as we go through, we're going to answer some key questions like, how much do I need on a monthly basis to fund my lifestyle in retirement? How much should I be saving today in order to achieve that goal? And we're factoring in things like government benefits and existing savings. And then the last piece is all around investments. So where should I be investing my money so that it's working for me? It takes into account my goals. Believe it or not, in 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to provide personalized answers to all of those really big 3 questions that relate to retirement planning. So let's say I'm an employee signing up for this plan. I'm 35 years old. I want to retire at the age of 65, and I can adjust that based on my personal goals. I'm then going to share my annual income. And you can see that as I entered my annual income, the platform is automatically calculating something called a target retirement income, which is basically answering that first question of how much can I expect to need on a monthly basis once I retire. And this is based on a replacement ratio. So we know that someone who's earning around 70K today should aim to have 70% of their current earnings throughout their retired years. So a lot of methodology built into the platform here, and employees can always click on the assumptions and methodology to learn more about that. But essentially creating a retirement plan for this employee by helping them figure out how much they're actually going to need in target retirement income. You'll see over the next few steps, we're going to fill in this block and show the employee where this target retirement income will come from. We know it's going to come from various sources. The first one being any existing savings that this employee has earmarked for retirement. So in that vein of building a true retirement plan for life, we're going to ask them to share any existing savings that they may have in RRSPs, TFSAs, or other account types. So we're going to highlight that here. And one of the really neat features about this aspect of enrollment is that we are also capturing this information for you as the advisor. So you as an advisor can see per account, so each client that you have with Commonwealth and IDC, how much members have reported in assets outside of the plan. So this is again where that opportunity for consolidation, transfer ins comes into play. Really a great opportunity to in some cases double the revenue that you're getting from these plans. So each employee is going to go through this process of filling in any existing savings that they have. And then we're going to do a projection of how much those existing savings are estimated to make up against their target income goals. Now, this next piece is really neat and something that's very different than what you might have seen with the insurers, actually building in the government benefits as part of the enrollment flow. So we know that employees are less likely to take advantage of planning tools if they're hidden away on a separate site and difficult to access. So in the vein of making a solution that's really easy to work with, we thought, let's provide some education around the government benefits as employees sign up for their plan. So nothing that the employee needs to do here. We're just providing some education around what they can expect to receive from old age security benefit, as well as CPP. Some great built-in planning tools for employees. So we know that employees can defer CPP up until the age of 70. Definitely, some folks may spend some time here playing around and seeing what impact that would have on their estimated benefit. Now, this tends to be a really eye-opening and reassuring moment for employees who likely have never seen this kind of visual depiction of the government benefits before. So they're seeing that over half of what they need in target retirement income is actually going to come from OAS and CPP. Now, we still have this gap at the top, and this is really where the beauty of a group retirement savings plan comes into play. By offering a match, your clients are helping their employees get closer to their target retirement income goals. And by offering the solution, you're making it really easy for them to support their employees in that way. When it comes to the actual payroll contribution amount, there's a lot of flexibility, and between Commonwealth and IDC, we're here to support you and your clients in the conversation around plan design, what would make sense within the context of your clients' budgets. We're more than happy to support with benchmarking data so that you can provide them a recommendation of what would make sense for them and their team. We can support a percentage-based match, which is what you see here. Other options include a dollar-based match, and you can also have multiple employee groups based on tenure or position within the organization. So there is a lot of flexibility, and like I said, we're happy to work with you to design a plan that would work best for your clients.
I'll just jump in on that point, and we'll probably talk more about it when we talk about kind of the sales support and programs to help you do more group retirement. But as Nobahar said, IDC and Commonwealth working together can give you a lot of support on really all steps of the sales and pre-sales as well as implementation. And in some cases, really what we want to help you focus on is just surfacing the opportunity with clients, getting a client to say, yeah, I want to talk about improving the plan I have in place and moving it from that legacy insurer where I'm not getting value, or yes, I want to talk about implementing a plan for the first time, and making it the advisor's role to have those relationships and tee up those opportunities, and then give you tons of support in terms of where you go next, with plan design being one example of where we can help. Give you benchmarking. We know if it's a new plan, the employer is going to want to answer what's a good match to offer, what's common in my industry. We can help with all that. We can provide a demo of the platform like Nobahar is giving you now, and a lot of other tools besides, which we'll probably give you a bit more of a deep dive on. But that's an important point, that you're not on your own in figuring some of this stuff out if you're less experienced in this part of the space.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point, and it leads into the following page, which shows the account types. So same thing as plan design. Maybe you're wondering which account types to suggest to your client. We can also support with that. From the member's perspective, it's really easy because they're enrolling, in this case, in all 3 accounts at one time. With some other providers, depending on the account types you're offering, employees actually need to go through multiple enrollment flows, which is definitely less than ideal. So Connor mentioned the account types that we're supporting. You can offer these account types in any combination. So we have the RRSP, TFSA, and DPSP, Deferred Profit Sharing Plan. So really breaking it down for the employee clearly to show them how much they can expect to see coming off of their paycheck as their contribution, how much their employer is kicking in as the match, and then giving a suggestion of how they should split up their contributions based on their income. So in this case, it's recommended that I save my portion mainly towards the RRSP because I'm earning 70K. You'll notice that if the employee was earning 50K or less, we'll actually give the recommendation that they should save towards the TFSA just to avoid clawbacks later on when they're drawing down on government benefits. So a lot of smart recommendations built into the platform. And then when we scroll down, we can see in the yellow, this big chunk that's coming just from this plan.
Nobahar, do you mind if I just jump in quickly? I'm sorry, I just wanted to make a point because I think sometimes there can be slid by. If people aren't familiar with GRS programs, that little piece that we just saw, which we kind of moved by really quickly around supporting the decision-making for which tax type a person should be investing in during their accumulation years, is unique in the marketplace. It's very forward-thinking, and it's exactly the kind of guidance, real advisory guidance, I think that plan members today need. It's a real differentiator. There's a lot of discussion about, what kind of a fund you should have, etc. That's very much commoditized. This kind of advice where you've got a mechanism of quantifying, essentially quantifying the tax outcomes for somebody down the road at least projecting forward and selecting a tax type accordingly, is really, really powerful consulting support for you as an advisor, where you're offering your plan members an experience that just no one else is providing. I mean, I know that myself as a plan member, I would be very pleased to have a system that would kind of guide me if I had options between RSP or TFSA, and letting me know, I'd be very comforted to know that the system has run some calculations and is suggesting that TFSA is a better place for me to be from a tax outcome perspective than is RRSP. So I just wanted to highlight that point, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thanks for that, David. Connor and I see it so often that we just take it for granted and forget how amazing it is. So thank you for highlighting that, David. And then the very last step is around the investments. So when it comes to investments, we partner with BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, to offer their suite of LifePath target date funds. And then we also have a more customizable option called Build My Own Portfolio, where the provider is RBC Global Asset Management. Spend a few minutes talking about the investments piece, because you'll notice that there is also a recommendation given on which fund makes most sense for the employee to invest in, given their age. So very similar to what David was saying about, just the member experience and being given a recommendation that you can put your confidence in and not worry about it. Especially for folks who may not be very, very savvy when it comes to investing, this can definitely be a game changer, and just having employees feel confident that their investments are, going to make sense for them and focus on the best outcomes for them. So we give a recommendation based on the member's targeted year of retirement. So in this case, if someone's 35, they are retiring at the age of 65, likely going to retire around the year 2055. That's why the recommendation has been given to invest in this fund. And for the purposes of member education, we have this slider that really makes it clear what's happening under the hood with the target date fund. As advisors, I'm sure many of you know the challenges, and just making it really clear what exactly is happening with investments. The member education piece is certainly something that's important to us. So just showing employees how their portfolio is automatically being de-risked as they move closer and closer to retirement, moving away from the equity into the bonds. And employees find this really helpful in just understanding what exactly they're investing in and what's happening under the hood with that investment.
There's a couple things to add on this while we show it on the investment side. So Commonwealth's not an investment manager. We're a platform for the group plan, but we can work with any manager. So we're not tied to BlackRock or to any of the other funds that you'll see on here. We try and take a best of breed approach, and it's something we look at annually with, or at least annually, I should say, with an external investment committee of some pretty prominent folks in the industry, along with input from advisors and plan sponsors on what this should look like. But we do very much believe in an approach driven by, first and foremost, member outcomes, so returns and income at the end of the day. And then you'll see also that we believe also in streamlining things a bit. You're not going to see 100 different funds on Commonwealth. We try and keep it around, 20 or so with the right funds. And as Nobahar said, following the best practice, which you'll see in any group plan, if you've worked in GRS, you'll know this, that target date funds are the kind of gold standard default. That's where most members are going to go. So we've selected BlackRock's LifePath funds as kind of the leading target date suite. Most members are going to go there. And then we do have a customizable option for folks who want to do something purely customized on their own and have a totally bespoke portfolio. As Nobahar is showing you here, if you just click to the next screen, we do let the members build a custom portfolio if they want to go this route from a set of building block funds. And essentially we have one fund per asset class. So you'll see if I want to go fully equity, I can do say 50% US stocks, 30% Canadian, 20% global. And I have to allocate every dollar, but I can choose whatever mixture of kind of asset class I want. And the platform will rebalance me quarterly to keep me at this level. So again, most members are going to go target date. We want to have that flexibility for folks who need it. You'll see we have PH&N and RBC as the primary providers for these build my own funds, but this is something we look at least annually and evolve as we see demand from advisors or sponsors for what they need on the investment lineup. The other point, probably a natural point to make it, and I don't know, Bahar, if you're about to do this, apologies if I'm stepping on where you were going to go, but we're also able to offer these funds at a very competitive price point. And we won't go into the detail on it now in the interest of time, when there's plenty of resources we can equip you with around pricing. But just to illustrate it, for target date and for typical advisor compensation, so we essentially match what's common in the industry, same kind of level of compensation you'd get from a Manulife or a Canada Life, et cetera. The total investment management fee for those target date funds is somewhere between 1.25 and 1.45%. And for folks who know this space, you'll know that that's about 40 to 60 basis points better value than, say, a Manulife or Canada Life small group program. If you are an advisor who does a lot of group retirement and have existing cases, we can custom quote those as well. You just let us know what compensation you're looking to build into the program, and we'll provide you a custom quote that, again, is often very competitive. Not usually at as big of a level as with that small group case. It's a huge difference at that side of things, but usually very competitive for that, great evidence-driven kind of leading investment program.
Thanks for that, Connor. And the fee savings is just one part of it, right? I mean, I think having seen the member platform, you can probably see how there would be value in bringing down the fees, but also providing a much better member experience for your clients and their employees. So it's kind of a win-win all around the board. At this point, when you've completed enrollment, members get access to their very own dashboard where they can view their progress towards their retirement goals, make changes to their plan. A lot of functionality here that we won't dig into, but one thing we'll quickly highlight is just how easy it is for employees to add funds using this button right here. We talked about the higher rates of transfer ins that we're seeing compared to industry average. And one big part of that, beyond, of course, the low fees and the member experience, is how easy we make it for employees to transfer in. So we're the only provider that doesn't require employees to manually fill out a form and sign it just to authorize that transfer. Employees can do this from the convenience of the online site or even our mobile app. So they can transfer in from the convenience of their phone. They just want to move a TFSA or RRSP from another institution. So perhaps I'm moving in that RRSP that I mentioned earlier on in enrollment. We're just going to ask for some basic information about the transferring institution, the account number, and we're happy to help members find this information as well. They can transfer in a partial amount or the entire account. And with a digital signature, the funds are on their way. So we take it from there. Within a couple of weeks, members see that fund balance show up within their Commonwealth plan.
So we can jump now to having given the kind of 101 on the platform itself, and hopefully that's pretty clear. And there's lots of detail we could go into further, but we wanted to talk briefly about, helping you essentially sell more and drive more business using this offering. So we've showed you the simplicity of the platform, how it drives better outcomes for the member, more engagement. We talked briefly about onboarding. We could probably share more there. The other side of things that we've worked with advisors on and pay a lot of attention to is actually helping you drive more sales, right? And there's really two ways to do that in the group retirement context. And we've built what we call revenue programs that aim to help you systematically do those two things, which broadly, there's various ways of doing this, but broadly I'd say they're, number one, sell more plans, cross-sell. So often this looks like, if you have a book of benefits clients, making sure that all of those benefits clients have a retirement plan, or it's with you if they have one that's not with you already. So that kind of cross-sell into a benefits book or into a wealth book, and making it very easy for you to do that. And then the second program is, if you have any group cases today, helping you get more value and more revenue, therefore, per customer. So we call that the replatforming program, a kind of motion and way of engaging with your clients supported by Commonwealth and IDC to systematically move them from a lower value place where they might be today with a legacy insurance platform to Commonwealth and to this more supported offering that we're giving you today. And it's a really great time to talk about this. One of the questions we had in the Q&A while Nobahar was presenting was around, do you have brochures that we can send clients? And I guess my answer to the person asking that question, and some of you may have similar ones, is we have quite a lot more than just marketing and sales assets. Yes, of course, we have brochures, we have videos, we have things that you can put in front of your client, but we actually want to work with you pretty closely to do that more systematically. And so what that can look like, just at a high level, we won't go into it in gory detail today, But to run what we call these revenue programs with us, some of the things that you can expect are a fairly dedicated level of support from our team. So Nobahar, myself, and the account executives we have across the country working with you directly to look at your book, the opportunities you have, be ideally meeting with you regularly to talk about advancing them. If, depending on the stage your client's at, do they need support on plan design? Do they need a demo? Do they need some customized benchmarking? So that dedicated support there. Along with that, customized materials. So we've created a lot of templates and tools that work quite well. For example, outbound communications you can send to your clients, highlighting some of that research around how effective a group retirement plan can be. We can brand that, put that in your branding, and give you something client ready to put in front of your clients, for example. So customized materials. And then, as I mentioned, we like to meet, if you're able to do this and truly want to drive this part of your book, meet regularly with you, along with Teresa and folks from IDC, to actually make it systematic, not just one-off, give the client a brochure if they happen to ask about retirement, but actually, create a bit of a shared lead list, help you systematically drive those opportunities and get the support you need to bring them on board and get value from the platform and the offering. Last piece, just go to the next page. We didn't talk about this in too much detail. We don't have probably a ton of time to get to it today, but we really make that onboarding or transition very straightforward and easy as well. We have a quote here from Min Mac, who's an IDC, a person working with IDC, runs his own business with Alimentus Wealth Management. Just around rounding off the edges of that implementation, happens in 3 steps. You're at the forefront as the advisor, but supported by a dedicated team with Commonwealth and IDC. We'll take that client through implementation, through transitioning their legacy plan, if they have one, from Manulife or Canada Life or Sun to Commonwealth, all the way through getting them set up. And as we said off the top, we'll actually measure a client satisfaction score at the end of that experience, which is around 95% today. So maybe Nobahar, I don't know if you want to close on this page in terms of what folks should do next, and then we'll go to questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of next steps, these are just some of the options, but if what Connor's described around the sales enablement, so just getting some support in, be it prospecting or helping clients who have an existing plan transition to a better plan that's going to create more value for them, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. So you will get a recording of this webinar, as well as a copy of the deck and everyone's contact information shortly after the webinar has ended. So you'll be able to get in touch with us directly, and we're happy to set up one-on-one time to discuss the sales support that you'd like. If you have a client who's ready for a proposal and they've expressed interest in a group retirement plan and you think this might be a good fit, again, great way to just get rolling. And there's no better way to get a feel for our process than to actually get started on a case together. So also a great opportunity for us to just connect one-on-one and dig deeper into that. And I know in some regards, we've only scratched the surface of how much we could have covered. So if you're just interested in learning more, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we're happy to dig into what the experience looks like for you, as well as the employer and member. We can dig into all of that in more level of detail if you're interested in learning more. And with that, I think we're going to open it up for Q&A. And we already have one question. Connor, maybe you can speak to the requirement for mutual fund licensing, or lack of requirement, I should say.
Yes, for sure. That's a great question. So Jagdish has asked, do you have to hold a mutual fund license to sell this? The answer to that, Jagdish, is no. There's no mutual fund licensing or MFDA or IROC licensing required to have and support this product. And to take that actually a step further, if you are IROC or MFDA licensed, working with this product and selling it through to clients actually doesn't engage or implicate that licensing. Basically, as an advisor, you are compensated, and your relationship to implementing a plan for your clients is around education, helping them get set up, and the employer side of things. There's no advisor involvement in furthering the sale of securities, which is where that licensing would become important. So basically, if a member, if you could think of it this way, is self-selecting themselves an investment using the flow Nobahar just showed you from a set of CAP compliant pre-approved funds. And therefore, they're not, receiving advice from an advisor that would trigger that licensing or require it. So most advisors working with Commonwealth may have some life licensing because they're doing group benefits or insurance. It's not required. but certainly no mutual fund license required. Thanks for the question. That's one is often asked, so very much appreciate it.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, Connor, Nobahar, thank you so much. Everybody, we hope that this information is helpful. Again, you'll find working with Commonwealth to be a unique experience in the marketplace, attentive, intentional about everything that they do, and really well positioned and intentional about your success with GRS. So if you've got any questions, please reach out to Teresa, to me. We can connect you with the folks at Nobahar, at Commonwealth, with Nobahar at Commonwealth. And we're looking forward to doing a lot more business in the group retirement space with you. So anything we can do to help, please just reach out. Thanks a ton, everybody.